Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. I'm Dr. Anne-Marie Clark from SPIN. This evening I wanted to talk with you about a treatment intervention for autism called Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA. A number of you have submitted questions over the past week inquiring about ABA because this is a treatment intervention that's often recommended for children and often sometimes adults who have autism. And I think it's a little bit confusing for families to try to understand all the different elements of it. So what we're going to try to do in tonight's video and over the course of the next several videos that we post is to break down the broad concept of applied behavior analysis, or ABA, into a more understandable bite-sized pieces for families so that you can understand this better and figure out how it applies to your child and how you can use it most meaningfully as part of a full treatment array for your child with autism. So first and foremost, applied behavior analysis, or ABA, that's the abbreviation I'm going to use for the rest of this. ABA is rooted very heavily in science, and it's rooted heavily in the science of learning. It rests on the premise that all behavior is learned, and if something is learned, we believe from a scientific approach that that behavior can be changed. It can be unlearned, it can be modified if we understand the different elements of that behavior. And then the second component is also motivation. The science of motivation. What motivates us to learn things? What motivates us to act in a certain way? What motivates us to react in a certain way to situations? So when we blend those two broad fields of scientific study, the science of learning and the science of motivation, and we apply it to understanding human behavior, that's basically what applied behavior analysis is. It's a very data-driven, scientific approach to studying human behavior and figuring out if that behavior is causing a problem for a person, how we can change that. And that change could be applied to a challenging behavior, say if a child is having tantrums and the family is trying to reduce those, or if it's a behavior of more of a skill building element. So for example, a child with autism who might be very disengaged from his or her environment, we might want to help that child build skill to become much more engaged in his or her environment, much more interactive with the people in the environment and the requests and so forth in the environment. So at its broadest sense, that's a brief overview of applied behavior analysis. And then what I'd like to do over the next several videos is break down the different elements of applied behavior analysis, starting first with the strategy of functional behavior assessment. And that'll be the topic of our next chat next week. So I hope you'll tune in then as we try to introduce and break down functional behavior assessment to you as we attempt to keep pace with autism.